Everybody, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about being a minute late. I went ahead and visited the restroom before I got on the stream instead of having to hurry up and get off because I tell you what, the decliners list is long, like really long. Welcome to possibly that correction I was talking about in the market. And, well, crypto might be trying to break on out. And Kevin, Leah, Gaten, Don, Dan, AT, Don, Laura, Valerie, welcome everybody. Stephen, don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. Rex, Francois, Robert, George, Amy, Helen, welcome, welcome. Cliff, Diana, Jan. Seeing a lot of names I don't recognize before. Welcome everybody. Steve, Ted, Arturo, some names I haven't seen in a while. Paul, Co, 27, don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. Thrifty, Mary, Larry, Dave, Nancy, Andreas, Penny, welcome everybody. Got my monster here. It's the red one. It was just coincidence. Big red day so far, and red monster is the one I grabbed. Anyway, welcome everybody. Rungarmer back in the house. Rungarmer got back yesterday with my boys. Had a good trip. Apparently, 56 miles turned into almost 130 miles of actual hiking in New Mexico. It's crazy stuff, man. I'm surprised anybody still has feet after that many miles in 10 days. Welcome everybody. And Steve, new with me and Apollo. Yeah. Apollo's a cool thing I built. And hey, there's Goose. Road Warriors in his Winnebago HQ. You're not really in a Winnebago. You're in an Eco. I know. All right, whatever it is. Anyway, welcome everybody. Rebecca, don't recognize your name, but welcome. Darren. And check this out right here. Look, ICP. Dun, getting close. Look. Something to pay attention to right here. Look at this one. Getting into the zone right here. Here's this zone. I don't usually talk about cryptos other than Bitcoin and Ethereum on the morning show, but this is getting into I had an alert right at the roadmap line. We were getting right into it. It's maybe a spot where you might consider adding exposure to this altcoin right here. This might be one that you want to pay attention to. This could double really quickly and potentially lead to something much bigger. Look at this number up here. I'm not saying it's going to go, just saying this is one to pay attention to potentially. If that's your kind of thing, if you're not into cryptos, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Now, some other ones. I still got my red list up from last night and 30 Minutes of Awesome. If you missed 30 Minutes of Awesome, we had kind of a light show, light attendance. So I need people to show up to do that show. If people quit showing up, can't really do the show. So right here, Bitcoin trying its darndest to break on up. Now we went in this downtrend, made a low here, missed the roadmap line back here in May, right after the halving event. We shot up, worked on a breakout. I thought we were going to do it. I really did. But we stopped at the prior highs. Right there. We retraced to the downtrend line of highs. It wasn't a very strong one. We only had a couple highs there. Downtrend highs. We retested it. The second retest, I was like, I'm not feeling so good. We rallied up again, rejected, breaking out. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 times we couldn't get through those prior highs right there. Stalled out. And then we broke down through, hit the roadmap line, couldn't muster a rally there, flushed on down 4th of July week there. I was feeling it in Ethereum. Ether needed to go deeper to really resolve this. Now, this is looking a lot like a potential breakout here. We can see one more push up, could be big, could be up into this orange box where we topped out before, could get a retest back in here, and then move on up. But this is shaping up if it can keep going. Now, the big catalyst we have coming up is spot ETFs. Have all but been approved. Today is the deadline to have their fees paid for these new spot ETFs. They have to pay the fees today. If they can get them in, likely they're going to be all approved on Monday after the close and start trading on Tuesday right here. So this can lead to a very large upside potential move. Now, back here is where the hype was. They were going to get approved, made a lower high, right here. Caution, made a lower high. This was a big red flag to me. We came down, made the lower low. That's what we needed right there. That resolved it right there. It wasn't much of a lower low, but it was a lower low. And now we're working on the breakout. This is very, very, very compelling to me. And it won't matter if you move the low over here or keep it over there. Once we break above this 3,600 area, and we do have a little resistance at this prior high, these prior highs. But once we break up through this, I've actually got my alert right there at 36.57, and it's just arbitrary 77. It just clicked in there because that general area, once we break through there, highly likely we're going cruising on up 4,500, possibly 5,000 on this move. And you know what? When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture on Ethereum, and if you don't care about crypto and Ethereum, no big deal. But this is, to me, it's important because there's opportunity here. We could be looking at 6,000, possibly 7,000, possibly 13,000 on a log scale. And if you take it off the log scale, if you're like, well, log scale doesn't matter. Things that move more than $50 tend to look better on log scale. But we could just be looking at 5,000, 6,000, possibly 7,000 if you take the conservative non-log scale. So proportionally, it looks actually a little better on log scale, and those numbers are pretty freaking crazy. And I was thinking 20,000 before on the when we were back here, the numbers really worked for going up to 20,000, but we never did that. So could be 20,000 is where we visit. So it's a left unhit kind of target projection I made back there 4 years ago, really. So here we are on a potential winding up breakout right there on Ethereum. Now you may be like, well, what's the play, right? Great and all. What's the play right now? Without spot ETFs in the market, if you wanted to get exposure, be careful. This is leveraged. I always caution on leveraged instruments right here. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Leverage cuts both ways. I bought right there and loaded up my position. So, not enough chart on this baby to really do much because it just started trading back here in June. This thing can go. Think about it. Think about it right here. Just do simple math. If we're talking about this going from 3,500, just call it 3,500, round up, going to 7,000. That's a double. All right. When you have a 2x leverage on something that doubles, that's 4x. So we're looking at this going from 12 to 48. That'd be pretty sweet, right? Could you make some money on something like some shares that went from $12 to $48? Talking about a move like that. Now, is that highly optimistic? Yeah, it's highly optimistic and probably won't do that, but the potential's there. So, just throwing that out there. Now, popping over morning movers list. And before we do that, we probably should do this because I've already told you about trades, and all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get another one right again. I may not get that Ethereum, Bitcoin, ICP thing. None of that may play out the way I expect. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling anything. All right, no stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no treasuries, no cryptos. All right, don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them, don't. Think about it. Every trade, buyer, seller, winner, loser, whichever way it goes. Every trade, there's a buyer and a seller and a winner and a loser. And if you desire personal financial advice, I just need somebody to tell me what to do. It's not what I do. All right. You're going to have to hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. All right. I'm not telling you what to do. Now, looking at the calendar for the week. We're at the midpoint. Not a lot going on today. Kind of benign here. We got some building permits and housing starts. Came in a little rich, but mostly in line. And yeah, not a lot going on today. Now tomorrow we get those unemployment claims, Philly Fed manufacturing. That doesn't, even though it's red and maybe moves the forex market, it doesn't tend to move the U.S. market all that much unless it's a surprise, and we haven't really been surprising very much. I mean, think about it. There's at least 250,000 idiots out there that get fired or quit every week. And, we've actually been, I think, artificially low compared to the historical. If you go back before COVID, back here, I mean, look at that. Just in normal times, 300, we got down to right before COVID, we were getting down in the same level we are now. So, and then we spiked up, of course, and then coming back down. So this is one of those things, like 300,000 idiots every week get fired or quit, go file unemployment. I mean, it's like normal. I mean, out of 300 million people, there's a few dum-dums out there. So anyway, I digress on that one. And on Friday, not much. So we don't really have much on an economic news going on the rest of this week. Now, FOMC meeting coming up in 2 weeks from today. We have a lot of big tech coming in tomorrow, or next week, excuse me. We've got Netflix coming in tomorrow, don't we? I think that's right. Let me pull that, grab my, yeah, Netflix, look at that, right after the close tomorrow. We got TSMC before the open, so Taiwan Semi, Netflix, we had ASML this morning, and some banks reporting earnings. And we're seeing a little bit of down pressure coming into the open. Just a little bit. I don't know who might have said something about the fact we needed a correction. Anyway, there's the market open. Things are popping and dropping it is. S&P down 60 points. So we've got sell, 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 sell. All sorts of sells. XLK. SRG. It's probably a bunch of stuff hitting the stops. Happens when we get a big down day. Well, look at that right there. Tried for the breakout. Oh, look. I wonder who drew these big arrows on here yesterday. As long as we hold above support, 54.50, the direction is still up. But we needed a correction. That correction can be a couple hundred points. Be careful. All right, we can rally here, but be careful, please. Looking at NQ, we've got support down here. We get below that, it's indicative that we're doing a bigger down correction right here. So 19.7, and yesterday I warned. Anybody remember? Oh, there's a little gnat just went in my ear. Usually they go up my nose. Anyway, yesterday I warned if we broke below that low from the day before, it was game on for going lower. Here we go. Here we are. Hopefully you heeded my warning. I actually threw a trade out there on, I think it was SQQQ. I always say don't buy options on leverage. I bought some options on leverage, and that may play out. Be cautious. And we're in the real market now. Hey, Sledge, good to see you. And time to be careful. I thought ASML would pull back, and there you go, pulling back. Pulling back indeed. Roadmap line is support down here at 900. I think I warned that last night during 30 Minutes of Awesome that we could see that pullback. Had that target down there for a while. There you go. There you go. That's on the top of the list for decliners, down 100 points almost. Big one. Big mover. And Russell here, watch out. Like that, Russell has not made a move like this since 1987, where it outperformed the S&P by that large a scale right there. So watch out for that to come right back down, or at least do a major retrace. Major retrace, that low, that high. We could be talking back down here at 2100 very, very quickly. Like that could be down there in 2 or 3 days, because this only took 5 days to get up here. Be careful. This could be a moment in the market right here. And oil. Yeah, look at that. Getting a little spicy here. I still think it looked best if we actually touch this right here, but it can be done. It was a lower low than right here. This three-wave situation can be done. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very, very, very echoey right there. This can go ripping off 90 upside target right there on oil. Gold, it did the breakout thing. It's kind of confirming. Probably more than likely we're going to 2540, if not 2600 up here. 2550 kind of been the number I've said a lot. Highly likely we're getting up there. We could possibly find resistance at this right at 2490, 2500, but it'd look best if we just go cruising on up in there. Would look best indeed. And the numbers don't change a lot, log or not log, just a couple points. It's up to you. Bitcoin, we already touched on. Ethereum, dollar, looking like we're breaking down, coming down to at least here. And if we don't hold that, then it looks like we're going on down to the mid-90s area down there. GitLab popping while everything else is dropping. That's fascinating. Fascinating right there. But it's succumbing to the down pressure. Lower highs, though. Be careful. That is not indicative of going higher yet. We've not broken out of the downtrend of highs. And look at that. That thing's on a 1 minute chart, recovering very quickly. Man, wow. That's going to fill the gap. Crazy. NVDS. That's NVIDIA short. Look at that pop. Dun, dun, dun. I am long NVDS still. Bought shares back here. And we're just sitting, waiting. This can break out and go much higher. As NVIDIA does its retrace back to the roadmap line. Dum, dum, dum. Right back down here. It's probably going to do it. That's what I envision going to happen. And man, alerts going off like crazy. Lots of sell stuff stopping out. And rolling back up to the poppers. There's not very many poppers today. AEHR, look at that. Nice pop. Getting above the roadmap line. I'm going to, since this was the lowest low right here, and that was just one big straight move up, and this was the lowest low. This is one big straight move up. I'm going to have to see a retrace to the roadmap line there and get continuation before I'm really looking for a breakout and go higher. We've got resistance right there. We've got resistance up here. That one's got some stuff to work through. It's just pushing through that resistance right there. Really want to see this retest and hold support, since this is just one move up off the low. There's no proof that's any strength for me right now. PPLT, that if you had bought at the low, you're gambling a little bit. Just to circle back here real quick, if you bought here, you just knew this was support, and you bought here on that flush, there's no reason to get out. It's just it hasn't proved that this move is sustainable without retesting a support level and then pushing on higher. UNH, look at that, cruising on up, gonna hit those targets. It's interesting in the face of weakness. 587, 630. It's interesting to me. What's Dia doing? Dia, oh, look at that, pushing higher. YM1. We taking back not taking it back yet, but YM not on any kind of crazy down, really. That one's still hanging up. UNH pulling that one up pretty well. That one can easily go rallying on up here to 44,000. Interesting dichotomy in the market, if you will. PPLT is just kind of hanging, not really moving. And looking at platinum futures, just the same. So PPLT is like sort of an is it ETF? Yeah, an ETF for trading platinum, physical platinum. So I would look at the platinum futures chart if I was going to make any decision about being in PPLT. Just like I look at the gold chart for making any decision about GLD, or, these are long-term trades, not short-term opportunities. If I was going to be in PPLT for a long-term trade, I would want to see this chart supporting it, which that's a lot of lower highs. I would be very cautious, very, very cautious. SOXS popping, but that is a declining asset chart right there. This thing looks highly likely to keep grinding lower, even if SOXX were to get a pullback. That just shows this to me is demonstrative of the costs to carry a leveraged short in semiconductors. It just keeps declining and declining and declining. Even when we get those rare pullbacks, it still doesn't do much. So another one that's similar to that is UVXY right here, being short, ultra, it's not short VIX, but ultra long VIX. This one just keeps grinding to zero constantly. And VXX kind of does the same thing right here. That's why SVXY is kind of my preferred weapon. This one grinds higher right here, as those other grind lower. So even if you're playing, like if you wait for, since this is inverse, it's short, which means inverse. Right here, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but short VIX right here. So what does that mean? It means when VIX pops, this one drops. So you just wait for the drop, because VIX always comes back. Always. Like you can stay elevated, but not for long. Right? Even during COVID, not for long. Hung out up here, and then right back down. If you wait for the pop, which is the drop in SVXY, get long SVXY as VIX comes back, SVXY goes up. GFS, Global Foundry, look at that one's popping, coming up to resistance right over here. Do I expect a breakout? Not necessarily. Tesla buy on a 1 minute, that's a day trade. FDMT, that's a pharmaceutical, biotech. Be careful. I don't trade biotechs. That's it. Just on my don't trade list. They show up all the time on the biggest movers because, well, they can make big moves. But it was popping, now it's dropping. Zeta was popping, now it's back to flat. ASML was dropping and looks like it's probably still going down to the roadmap line, if not doing a deeper correction here. That was kind of a working on a finishing move up here. Anyway, looks like we're not getting the break higher. Probably going to come down to here, if not a deeper retrace. We've got that gap stuff down there that corresponds with that $700-800 area right there. LRCX. Load. There we go. Coming back down. Probably going to get to the roadmap line. Lamb Research. MSTR. Get smacked a little bit, but that's still working on it's still recovering very nicely here, even though it was down more than $2. This is probably done its measured bounce and probably set the stage to go up to 22, 26, 32, somewhere up in that zone. And we kind of scraped that target before. We've got this target hanging there at 22, 23. So we'll see. But this one definitely looks like it's set to break out. Very indicative of higher prices on cryptos. And if you're wondering about other stuff like Mora, Riot, BTBT, I covered all those last night before I even went into requests on the 30 Minutes of Awesome show, 30 MA. So you should go watch that. Nothing changed this morning. And CLAC probably coming back down. SMCI probably coming back down to finish this up. If not, watch out for the breakdown further. We may come all the way back down to this 300 zone if we don't hold up here. And Lily, getting a little flash of correction there, corrective action. That's a long way to support down here. And could it do it? Absolutely, we could do that. Absolutely. Don't get caught up in thinking that we can't do a correction. That's going to correct, and it's going to be pretty vicious there. Probably losing 120 points. Come back down, find support, and then we can go again. Like, it's been all the way back here since March of last year, since we were touching the roadmap line. That's a lot of money flowing in. Money has to move to make more money, so that money may flow out and then flow back in. FNGU, whew, watch out for that one to retrace. I've got a lot of shorts, a lot of stuff that was on the biggest loser list. I mean, look at that. Look at these numbers right here. Holy beep. NOW getting smacked. Came up lower high. 1, 2. That may return to the target down here. We did hit it. We may go, well, at the minimum, we're going to retest this. It looks like highly likely. So, FIVE just keeps going. 5 below. 5 below is going to be all the way down here, right? Watch out for that one too. Continue down the toilet. Can easily take back the whole. A lot of retail has been taking back the whole entire COVID move. Watch out for that. Come back down in that zone. AMAT. Applied materials. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. Somewhere in that zone. Played out to the upside. Time to come back. Revisit support. ANET. Kind of warned about this too, that like maybe. Let's just take a diversion for a second. Look, I warned about this, that like last year, July through October, correction. Where are we right now? July. If we just repeat this, we could be hanging out over here in October, right down there. Be careful. This can turn into a more prolonged correction. That's why 5450 is important, because we could take it all the way back to 5,000, find support, and then push it on up to that 6,000 zone, and then roll on over. So this could be a pretty good correction here in the markets. It's the warning I've got right now. All right, back to it. I was looking at that one. FTMT. We were down in 222. There we go. ANET wants to come back to the roadmap line. USD wants to come back to the roadmap line. TSM, watch out. That reports earnings tomorrow. Pre-market wants to come back to the roadmap line. I'm telling you, it's been all the way since back here in November, October, November. High flying. Come back very viciously. SMH. And watch out for that one to retrace. QCOM. Ooh. Hit the target. Retrace. That's what we're likely to do. That's what we're likely to do. If we don't hold here, and it's got to hold here right where we are. If we hold here, break back above this stuff, probably go on cruising on up, maybe up to this 293 area. If we don't do that, come in here. If we don't hold that, might be more vicious on the downside. Meta, well, the roadmap line is on down there, and that may be headed down to that 450 area. If we get below that, could come on down here. NVDU, Ultra, NVIDIA probably going down. And SOXX, another semiconductor. There's lots of semiconductor and big tech ETFs. Everything was so concentrated. We could see all these pulling back, while we see other things like S&P 500, and we could see Russell, and we could see Dow all pushing higher, while NASDAQ gets a giant correction. So these are kind of like some cautionary things in the market here. ARM, that was at the target. I was kind of mentioning that. Finally getting some roadmap line here. That'd be support here. A gap fill down here. And we could possibly go all the way down and make a lower low than we made right after the IPO here at 50. Crowd, CRWD, probably going to come down to the roadmap line, ELV. Now, is this all going to happen in one day? Unlikely. This one did right here. This sets up a new potential. I kind of did it right there. Did it again right here. New potential for 562 if we're going to rally again. AMD, watch out if that doesn't hold going down here. It's a cautionary tale on NVIDIA, on AMD. QQQ, watch out. That's just divide what I said on NQ, divide the numbers by 41, and you get these roughly. You have to round just a little bit. NXPI, look at that, taking it right back up. It was a bigger stopper, and now it's going to be a popper. Probably going to go cruising at 300. Data dog. 1, 2, 3, coming back. If we can hold that and break out above this again, probably going to go hit the target 144. TECL. Coming back to the roadmap line. Kind of been expecting this a little bit. Camtech, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. SOXL, Semiconductor 3X Bulls, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. AVGO, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Hit the target. Look at that. Day trade done. JB Hunt. Ooh, that's dangerous. Rejected off the roadmap line. Probably going to go an extension down to 150 area right down here. That would be what I expect. NVDO. Watch out for the roadmap line. IYW. iShares Technology. Roadmap line. If you don't have the roadmap line, links in the description. It's like $5. It's, very affordable. And if you're just like JT, I can't afford $5. Well, 1, be careful trading. 2, you can go, if you're a DIYer, you can go to the main channel homepage on YouTube here and watch the video that I have right there. It's kind of like pinned to the top almost. It'll be the video that plays on my homepage. It gives you the code. It tells you how it works. It gives you all the information, all for free. If you just, $5 is too much for you, you can go do it yourself right there. So it's like, do I hold this key piece of information back from everybody? Not really. I don't hide behind a paywall. It's there for free. If you want the easy button, links in the description. It's like, come on. I make it as cheap as I possibly can. $5. That's less than a $9 coffee, if you go to that, this place, less than you might spend on coffee there. And it's very valuable. Goose won't even talk to you unless you have that. So right here, we have this interesting situation cooking. Get that. We may go visit the 1 hour support line right there. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Make a little bit lower low than we made right here. That was a lower high. May flush it. We do have earnings coming up pretty quickly. But if this correction kind of needs to play out, this could play out in the next 2 days, maybe even 1 day. Then we bounce up, make a higher high. And if we do that, we're probably going to get a bigger correction on earnings that may take us back down into this zone here. Just the price action looks that way. Be careful on Tesla. And LABU. Maybe like, why do you jump around time frames? It's because I do this all day, every day. I know what I need to show you on and what time frame it kind of shows up on. All right, that's the blessing and the curse of doing this all day, every day. How do you know where to be? Well, 1, you either spend a lot of time doing it, or 2, you follow somebody like me that can show you the time frame that you need to see the move on. So LABU right up there. This is interesting. It's 2 things I don't typically, I do trade leverage stuff, but I don't like to chart it. When it's 3x leverage, the charts don't always work. All right. And then when it's biotech, the charts don't always work. So this combines 2 things, kind of multiplies them together, and creates a very, very dangerous dumpster fire-ish situation where you can make a bunch of money or you could lose a bunch of money, and that's extra dangerous. But this right now looks like we're set to go on up here to this zone. Now, all those cautionary things said, may be heading right up there on LABU. MU is coming back pretty hard and fast, pretty viciously. Back to the roadmap line. We came up shy of my 220 target. Failed to break out. Getting the retrace. If we hold support, that can set us up to go up higher, but not yet. Amgen, wow, a lot of stuff that was down is already recovered pretty good. Amgen, right back to it. Probably going to push on up to 348. Microsoft, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. And they'll be like, no way. Yes way, Jose. Be careful. Be careful. We may find support at the, like, just get my red marker. Like this, that resistance may provide support right here. And we go popping on higher. But if it breaks down, we'll probably, like, it's not far to get to the roadmap line right there. Not far at all. Dill. Yeah, come on. That one's probably coming on down to the target zone at the roadmap line. PANW. Wow, that one's holding up really well. Found resistance at the prior consolidation on the way up. Has that bigger gap down. That's the bigger orange box. So it's got a confluence of resistance right there, right where we're kind of hanging out. If we can break through it, odds are we're going cruising on up. I think my order is at 410. Maybe it's 405. I bought shares back here at 300. Sitting on them. Just sitting on them. I have a whole 5 shares. Whopping 5 shares. Why did I buy them at 300? Because I could make 33% on shares. And there's no time decay on that. So I'm just going to hang on to it. Make my 33% when we get there. I have a strong feeling we'll get there. And if we come back down to the roadmap line, I may decide to bail. But right now, still looking fine. Still looking fine. NVIDIA, as I said, probably going to work its way back down to the roadmap line. That could take well into the fall to do that. XLK, probably going to work its way back down to the roadmap line. Coin, that was on the droppers list. Now it's on the poppers list. We may see crypto break on out. If we get above this level right here, it's probably indicative we're going to go cruising on up to 300 area. There, we get above that 260. We're going to add $40 to it pretty quickly. GPCR. Ugh. Not for me. SPXL. Watch out for that to retrace. As I said, S&P needs a correction. This is a 3x leverage on that correction. Because this cuts both ways. Right? It 3x leverage down and 3x leverage up. So be careful. Apple dumpling, what's crack-a-lackin'? Watch out for this to retrace all the way back down here. Back to this 200, 190 to 200 area. Where we found resistance before. Watch out. Can that flush pretty hard? Yeah. You betcha. You betcha. Think about it. Every dollar move Apple makes, every dollar move you make is $15 billion in the market. Every dollar NVIDIA moves is $25 billion in the market. Every dollar that Microsoft moves is $7 billion in the market. Think about it. How much money that takes to move each of those $1. That's money flowing in and out. So Microsoft has the ability to move much more freely than NVIDIA does. And moving on. DPST. Nice move. Come up into that resistance / target zone right there pretty quickly. NVO coming back down into that Sava Sciences. What a piece of garbage. Piece of garbage chart. Look at that. Just that's biotech for you. TER. Potentially going to pop on out. 181. Prior high right there. Just above us. Right star right there. Right there, right there. FS Solar. Oh, so close. Be a shame to miss that target at that point, at this point right there. Then if we can turn and burn it, that high, that low. And there's another entry on Tesla. Oh, no, that's the target. Did it get the... Yep. Got the target. That's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And ZS coming up. Resistance right in here. If we can break above it, 280 on the upside. That could actually go higher while other semiconductors are retracing. FN. Watch out. That's at extension targets. That may result in a bigger pullback. Nail trying to confirm. 167, 181. You know, the housing numbers did come in today. Fairly bullish. Housing starts better than expected. Building permits, housing starts. Those are good numbers right there. I think that's a lot of houses actually. Building permits. 1.5 or 1.45 million houses. That's a lot. But good for building supplies. FLUT, that's a lower high. Be careful if that turns down. Probably heading down here. ACLS. Man, this list is long. Dun, 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 dun. Resistance right there, and we could get extension. We came up just the top of the target, but I'm thinking we may go a little deeper after rejecting off of that right there. Be careful on ACLS. BKTX, biotech, pharma, junk sitting on the roadmap line. No indication we're going higher yet. Gonna have to break above this stuff. 78 to get to 110 if it's gonna go up. DG, little rejection. We rejected the roadmap line here. Pulled up, came up shy, and pulling on down, hunting for a lower low. Still hunting for that support on DG. We're kind of at this measured bounce territory here, which if we can break back above, it's a big if. That's why I said it twice. Big if we can break above the roadmap line, get back above this high right here. Just kind of draw it on here a little bit. We get back above this. So this is all like pretty good resistance right here. We get back above that. This thing could go cruising. Talking like 250, 260 right there. So that's a double. Now, the problem is, though, it doesn't really confirm that we're going to do that till we're up here at 150-ish. Not quite a double anymore. But if you want to gamble, you can buy some shares here. If I was buying options, I would definitely wait till up here. And then how long would that take? Probably well into next year, likely, to do it. So that was interesting to me right there on DG. TQQQ getting slammed and probably going to come back down here if we get more correction. ADI. Just keeps making extensions here. That high, that low. Next one up, 277 area. VRT. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. It may take it a while to chug on down. ANF. Probably going to retrace. That's a big move. That was a really big move. Would not surprise me to come back, kind of find some support, and then set up to go again. QQQM. Another QQQ. Probably has maybe has a lower cost. Expense ratio 0.15. Yeah, has a lower cost than the QQQ, lower expense ratio. It's interesting. CEG, watch for that to retrace. And what would I say here? Watch for it to retrace. QYLD, or QLD, excuse me, not QYLD. QLD, watch for that to retrace. That's an ultra QQQ. Another leverage QQQ. You got TQQQ, SQQQ, QLD, all these leverage things. Watch out. CVNA. Ooh, hitting the resistance. If we can break through, we can move on up. Next resistance at 225. If we reject, watch out for the retrace. MKR, watch for that to retrace. MAR. That looks like we're going popping out 260. Let's say 265, probably target 269, 280, 300 if we really get spicy. On the upside, CRM, big cautionary move here. That rejection. If we break down below this zone right here, if we break below that, whoop, boop. Well, probably here, yeah, 200. Maybe develop something even worse though. Maybe we could go down here, 100. Oh, be careful. IBKR, probably coming back down to the roadmap line. CLS. This could be, how long do you think this crypto bull run could last if BTC makes the breakout? Well into next year. Probably, Bitcoin target, my target for Bitcoin's been 150 to 300,000 for 4 years. Basically since, well, I say 4 years, since we bottomed out 2 years ago in November of 22. I've been looking for 150 to 300,000. Once it set that bottom, typically Bitcoin 10 to 20x is the bottom. So, and that's happened every halving event so far. The bottom was 15,000 and change, so 150,000 and change, or possibly 20x, which is 300,000 and change. I think it's 151,000 and 320,000, something like that. Anyway, there you go. There you go. And CLS looks like we're going to come back down. WBD wasn't on the list. I don't think. Maybe it was. Maybe, yeah, I don't have WBD. So this is not a request show, though. Sonoma, 9x9. That was Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. MRVL. I already pulled the list and built it before I came on. These are all the pre-market poppers and droppers. Anything moving $2 or more. MRVL just kind of hanging, consolidating, not breaking out, not breaking down. Higher lows, lower highs. Indecision, nothing awesome. UPRO pushing on up, getting a little zap right there. May come back there if we get the deeper correction. 90 on the upside. Connell. Coin leveraged. This may be the way I play coin. If we break above that 66 zone, in fact, I'm going to set an alert. I may play it leveraged. Looking for the 109, 145, possibly on the upside. GEV, coming back strongly. Don't have a roadmap line. Watch out, that could retrace well down into the 130, 140 area. TXN keeps pushing higher. Next resistance, 211. Roadmap line down here. Snow, just chopping around. Still expect this big picture to come down, make a bottom in this 100, 110 area. Lower low than what we had back here in summer of 22. SWKS. Man, what a choppy sideways. That's just... I don't want to mess with that until it cleans it up. And it may take another zip down lower low than what we had back here in October. And GC. Hit the target. Cha-ching. And can't help it. I gotta go look at stuff that throws alerts when they're not the typical stuff. EMPH resistance right there. Starting to lose the crowd. Trying to get through. Give you my bias for the day. WDC probably coming down to the roadmap line right here. Oracle. Watch out for that one to retrace. We found a lot of strong resistance at that 145, 1618 extension. Watch for the retrace. Reddit. Watch for that one to break down. Still think it couldn't go lower low. Found resistance and come right back down again pretty quickly. All right. Bias for the day is caution. Pushing lower again. Support 5450. Here's the end. We get below that 5580 area, probably coming on down right there. That's your warning. And we get below 5450, probably coming on down here. That's probably not gonna happen today. It'd be highly unlikely we'd see like a 500 point down day. Could, unlikely. So watch out for the flush, some intermediate chop, maybe go retest the 5450, and then possibly rally up for the finality move between 5800 and 6000. That's the path forward right there. Alrighty, that was the list. It was a long list, and if anything I said was helpful, beneficial, give me a like on the video. And guess what? I got a big prediction coming up on Friday. Friday, Monster Truck Madness. If you want to get invited, well, this is your invitation to come to a webinar if you want to. And let me pull up the link. You can register right now. And oh, I didn't throw the link on here. Cool. That doesn't help for squat. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Right there. Here we go. Here's the link right here. If you want to register, 1 p.m. on Friday. I got a big prediction I'm going to give away right there. Big prediction. So you can come see me tomorrow at 1. I'll remind you again tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.